They're 3-3 when he is on the court, shooting above 60%. That's what impresses me the most. He has been impressive overall. One thing that his head coach Alvin Gentry regrets is not getting him the ball. Let's take a listen to him Sunday after the loss.
No, you got to throw him the damn basketball. I mean, it has nothing to do with playing together, figuring it out. He's got an advantage, and we've got to find a way to get him the basketball down there. So I'm not buying the playing together or figuring out or anything like that. You know, that we have to have him have touches in the fourth quarter. You know, if not, then there's no reason for us to have him in the game. And that's not going to happen either. So we have to get the basketball to him. He's a willing passer. You know, I like our chances when he's got it down there because I think he's going to make the right play. And we didn't do that.
As we welcome in our guest, Scott Kushner of the Times-Picayune, we appreciate you joining us. I want to get right to it. Alvin Gentry said it. They want to get him the ball at the end of games. How will they go about addressing that?
I mean, it's pretty simple. They gotta have to put in guys who want to pass the ball, or they're going to have to just make changes. This is a really important part of the development of Zion Williamson, and if he's going to be your best player, he needs to get the ball at the end of the game. And I think at the moment he's probably not their best player. It's probably evolving still from Drew Holiday to Brandon Ingram to Zion, but he definitely needs touches, and he needs to get them when it counts, and he's proven that he's ready at an NBA level to contribute in game-winning situations.
I'm glad you brought up Brandon Ingram being named an all-star. I'm not sure if that was a goal of his, but he certainly has played very well consistently. What's the take, Ben, from the team's perspective on how he has performed?
I think if you were to take anything from this season of what they're excited about, Brandon Ingram would be the number one option. Like, they didn't quite know what they had from that Lakers trade other than the picks. They knew that they had a kind of a war chest to use going forward, but really going out and getting Brandon Ingram into an all-star level. He went from a guy who's kind of a fringe guy, a good player with a lot of potential, and now he's an all-star, and that alone is more than a lot of teams get in these superstar trades to begin with. So that's a huge step for this franchise, a really important piece for them building forward. And now they have two pieces under 23 years old in Zion and Brandon Ingram, who they feel they can use as a real foundation to build up.
You look at the Western standings and you see the Pelicans are sitting right at 11. They're only 3 games out of that 8th position. They've won 6 of their last 10 games. Is the playoffs a realistic goal for this team?
I think more important than even making the playoffs is just staying in the hunt, because they want to be playing meaningful basketball. They want Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram together to be playing meaningful basketball. And I don't know if they're going to be able to catch Portland. Quite frankly, the way Dame is playing, it seems like it's their spot. They've beaten Memphis twice, though. They've beaten Portland twice. So they're certainly capable of it. And they have a super easy schedule down the stretch. But more important is for them to stay within 2, 3, 4 games so that they can continue to play meaningful basketball, and that it's a really important part of everybody's development, so they know what they have in games that count. Not like a lot of rookie seasons where there's so many worthless minutes that are out there. These games are supposed to matter.
Valid point. All right. Thank you, Scott. We appreciate you joining us here on the warm-up. Have a good one.
Thank you so much. Y'all have a great day.
All right, gentlemen. A lot to talk about with the Pelicans. We didn't really know what we were going to get when Zion Williamson returned to action. We also weren't sure how the Western teams were going to fall out. They're 3 games out. What's the realistic prospect for this team?
Well, to me, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I got San Antonio and Portland. I think Portland is a team. I think they're going to catch Memphis, and then Memphis is going to come back. If this kid would have been here a little bit earlier, we probably would have been talking about something different. I think that they have to use him, I think, because it's nobody right now that can guard him in the post. I don't know how his game is of creating shots or creating stuff like an Ingram does. But this guy, if he gets a mismatch and he gets down low, it's hard to stop him because he's too big. And I think what Gentry was saying is that if he's in there and he's got a mismatch, you got to give him the ball so he can punish people. But this league is not like that. They want to shoot threes. They want to do this. But this kid here is like almost an old school kid where he wants to be inside. And if he switches on you, you switch on him. His known act is to post you up and punish you inside. And I love this about him. and they have to find a way to get him the ball more, especially with Ingram becoming the player that he was supposed to be with the Lakers, and now he's with New Orleans. These two guys can be a big two in the Western. But right now, let them grow, like he was saying, get meaningful games so they can be right there.
Yeah.
And I think that will teach them how to win games and be in these type of situations.
I think New Orleans does have a good chance to make the playoffs. Whether they'll make it, nobody knows. In the Western Conference, we've seen a lot of teams go up and down. We've seen Portland play great like they're playing now, but Dame's also been scoring like 49 a game their last 6 games.
Sure.
But when he's not doing that, can they win? Their defense has still been a problem. Memphis is a young team. They could come back to the pack. So this team has enough when you look at Brandon Ingram, you look at what Zion is doing now, and then you also look at Drew Holiday. So they have a lot of pieces. They could go on a run. And I agree with Alvin Gentry. They have to find ways to get Zion the ball, especially in the clutch and down the stretch of basketball games, because he does have a mismatch down there. And they're not using him to create shots for himself, because that's not really what he does well right now. They're using him in a smart way. This is a league where they switch a bunch of screens. So if you get a screen, you can almost dictate the mismatch, because they'll switch with a point guard or a shooting guard. Then you roll him down to the block. He's not trying to pop out and shoot a bunch of step-back jumpers. He takes advantage of the paint. He seals his man. He scores inside. If they try to front, he flips, rolls around to the basket, catches the lob dunk. So he's forcing you to either double team him early or he scores the basketball. He's the basketball player that simplifies his portfolio. He's not trying to do too much. He's doing what he knows how to do. He does it well, and that's why Alvin Gentry wants him to get the ball so much in the fourth quarter down the stretch.
Well, talking about the Western Conference, you brought up the Memphis Grizzlies being a young team. They are sitting in the 8th position. And just in case you missed this just happened yesterday.
Shots fired.
Dylan Brooks said about Andre Iguodala, quote, "I can't wait till we find a way to trade him so we can play him and show him really what Memphis is about." Ja Morant then chimed in with the yelling emoji, like, say it louder for the people in the back. And then Steph Curry chimed in. Of course, you remember he was Andre Iguodala's teammate for those championship runs at Golden State. A picture of Iguodala with the trophy and the shh emoji.
Can't shush another grown man now.
And then Ja Morant replied with this tweet of KD and the "what are you talking about?"
It's getting spicy out here.
Fishing emoji. So it's worth bringing up because you mentioned they're a young team, right? They could easily slide back in. Thoughts on this general trash talking on Twitter?
I love Memphis's spunk. I love where they're at right now. I don't mind Dylan Brooks. To me, he's being respectfully disrespectful because he's telling Iggy, okay, you didn't want to be a part of this, and that's fine. But when we play you, we want to show you what you're missing out on. Then Steph chimed in, and Steph is the older player. He could have hit Ja on the side, but he decided to go at it on him with Instagram and gave him the shush emoji. Ja's a grown man with pride. You don't do stuff like that. So he came back with it with his own shush emoji, and then he had the KD tweet. I like Ja showing the spunk. I like Ja not backing down. I like what this Memphis team is. I really like Dylan Brooks. He's quietly been playing well. 16 points per game, shooting 49% from 3. Right now, Memphis is feeling themselves, and I like these young guys playing. I like these young guys having that pride and energy.
I don't like it because Dylan Brooks, if he was in that situation and he was doing business too, he would do the same thing. He'll do what's best for him. So don't go at the guy because he doesn't want to be there and he wants to do something else. He didn't want to start over. He didn't want to do that. That wasn't what he was. He's a champion. He's an older guy. He's 35 years old. He didn't want to start off like that. So when the young fella gets in that situation and then he wants to do something and then somebody else chime in, take the same criticism. He can say whatever he wants to say. But look at it in both ways. This guy has a right to do what he wants to do in business-wise because that's what's going to happen. He don't want to be there. He don't want to start over. He wanted to do that. What Dylan Brooks is saying is, if you would have came, we better than what you thought. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. We better than what you thought. I'm with that.
Well,
but then it is what it is.
In Dylan Brooks' defense, it was not in that tweet, but I saw the whole comment. He did start off by saying pretty much what you said. He's doing what's best, speaking of Andre Iguodala, what's best for him in his business. And so he did preface his statement with that.
Yeah. He just wants to.
Hey,
he just wants to show the young fella just trying to show the old dogs that they can compete. Hey, GP, I know you wouldn't have let nobody give you the shush emoji. If you grew up in this era,
I would have called him on the phone
exactly.
and told him to holler at me.
Hey, man, we would have had us in security at your house. Hey, GP, don't go fight him, man. Just an emoji.
They would have hollered at me.
The warm-up. We'll be right back.